From the birthplace of America, we're about to witness history again. I'm Scott Pelley. This week, for the first time, a major party will nominate a woman to be President of the United States.
I'm Nora O'Donnell. Hopes for unity at Hillary Clinton's convention are dashed by the email leaks that have Bernie Sanders supporters furious.
I'm Charlie Rose. The DNC apologized, but the chairwoman is out.
I'm Gayle King. The convention will hear tonight from Michelle Obama, keynote speaker Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders.
I'm John Dickerson. I'll be at the podium. Tonight, Hillary Clinton's rebuttal to Donald Trump's convention begins.
We're in Philadelphia with the Democrats on CBS.
When I look out at all of you, I see America's future.
In America, we put common interest before self-interest.
We need a president who can help pull us together, not split us apart.
We need a doer and a change maker.
She also knows what it takes to be a commander-in-chief.
Hillary's ready to be president. Hillary's ready to make history.
Just remember, love trumps hate.
And good evening. It is opening night of the Democratic National Convention at the Wells Fargo Center here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
The last time the Democrats met in Philadelphia was the first time CBS News televised their convention, 1948. So it's something of a homecoming for us, too.
And it's good to be here. And there is more convention history coming as the Democrats nominate a woman to be president, Hillary Clinton. But first, they have to get past the turmoil of the present.
There is a rift between the Clinton and Sanders camps over leaked emails that suggest that Democratic Party officials tried to undermine the Sanders campaign. Gayle King is in the Wisconsin delegation with folks on both sides of this. Gayle?
I'll say, Scott, there are a lot of Bernie Sanders signs in the House, and his people are demanding to be heard. Is it creating friction? You betcha. On both sides, they're saying they're being disrespected and they're not going to take it. We're sitting here with Nancy Kaplan. She's for Hillary. Paul Cisney, rhymes with Disney, is for Bernie. Let's start with you, Nancy, because you say the First Ladies. I think you just got trumped by the First Lady.
She's funny, she likes kids, and I'm a kid.
All right, while we're listening to the piece, you said that you feel that the Bernie Sanders supporters are being disrespectful.
I do. I think it's great to cheer for your champion, but I don't think it's great to boo. And I certainly don't think it's a good idea to appropriate the signs of true oppression for a trivial purpose. This woman back here, for example.
The woman back there with
the tape over her mouth.
Yes.
That says silenced. No one silenced her. She's white. She's privileged. She's here. She voted in April. She was part of the process to elect delegates, and she got herself elected. She's here on the floor and can vote whenever a vote comes up. No one is silencing her. And to appropriate a symbol of true oppression when there are millions of people worldwide who are truly oppressed, who have been silenced, who have been killed, who have been imprisoned, for this purpose is not only disrespectful, it's reprehensible.
All right, Nancy, we hear you. Scott and Nora, back to you.
Well, we're now waiting for Michelle Obama. She'll be coming out on the stage shortly. First speech that she made to Democrats was in 2008 when her husband was nominated for the very first time.
Yes, we should note this video that they're playing right now is by J.J. Abrams, of course, the recent director of Star Wars, put together this really moving video. And it is going to be extraordinary to hear a First Lady endorse a former First Lady and vouch for her in a personal way, even though her husband, Barack Obama, battled with Hillary Clinton for the nomination back in 2008. John Dickerson's on the podium. John?
Well, Nora, there is, last week the Democrats were reveling in the bumpy moments of the Republican convention, but this low-grade fever that we have here sounds like we've got a First Lady.
Please welcome First Lady.
And here's the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama.
Thank you so much. You know, it's hard to believe that it has been 8 years since I first came to this convention to talk with you about why I thought my husband should be president. Remember how I told you about his character and conviction, his decency and his grace, the traits that we've seen every day that he served our country in the White House. I also told you about our daughters, how they are the heart of our hearts, the center of our world, and during our time in the White House, we've had the joy of watching them grow from bubbly little girls into poised young women, a journey that started soon after we arrived in Washington, when they set off for their first day at their new school. I will never forget that winter morning as I watched our girls, just 7 and 10 years old, pile into those black SUVs with all those big men with guns. And I saw their little faces pressed up against the window, and the only thing I could think was, what have we done? See, because at that moment, I realized that our time in the White House would form the foundation for who they would become, and how well we managed this experience could truly make or break them. That is what Barack and I think about every day as we try to guide and protect our girls through the challenges of this unusual life in the spotlight. How we urge them to ignore those who question their father's citizenship or faith. How we insist that the hateful language they hear from public figures on TV does not represent the true spirit of this country. How we explain that when someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high. With every word we utter, with every action we take, we know our kids are watching us. We as parents are their most important role models. And let me tell you, Barack and I take that same approach to our jobs as President and First Lady, because we know that our words and actions matter, not just to our girls, but to children across this country. Kids who tell us, I saw you on TV, I wrote a report on you for school. Kids like the little black boy who looked up at my husband, his eyes wide with hope, and he wondered, is my hair like yours? And make no mistake about it, this November when we go to the polls, that is what we're deciding. Not Democrat or Republican, not left or right. No, in this election and every election is about who will have the power to shape our children for the next 4 or 8 years of their lives. And I am here tonight because in this election, there is only one person who I trust with that responsibility. Only one person who I believe is truly qualified to be President of the United States, and that is our friend Hillary Clinton. That's right. See, I trust Hillary to lead this country because I've seen her lifelong devotion to our nation's children. Not just her own daughter, who she has raised to perfection, but every child who needs a champion. Kids who take the long way to school to avoid the gangs. Kids who wonder how they'll ever afford college. Kids whose parents don't speak a word of English but dream of a better life. Kids who look to us to determine who and what they can be. You see, Hillary has spent decades doing the relentless, thankless work to actually make a difference in their lives. Advocating for kids with disabilities as a young lawyer, fighting for children's health care as First Lady, and for quality child care in the Senate. And when she didn't win the nomination 8 years ago, she didn't get angry or disillusioned. Hillary did not pack up and go home, because as a true public servant, Hillary knows that this is so much bigger than her own desires and disappointments. So she proudly stepped up to serve our country once again as Secretary of State, traveling the globe to keep our kids safe. And look, there were plenty of moments when Hillary could have decided that this work was too hard, that the price of public service was too high, that she was tired of being picked apart for how she looks or how she talks or even how she laughs. But here's the thing. What I admire most about Hillary is that she never buckles under pressure. She never takes the easy way out. And Hillary Clinton has never quit on anything in her life. And when I think about the kind of president that I want for my girls and all our children, that's what I want. I want someone with the proven strength to persevere, someone who knows this job and takes it seriously, someone who understands that the issues a president faces are not black and white and cannot be boiled down to 140 characters. Look, because when you have the nuclear codes at your fingertips and the military in your command, you can't make snap decisions. You can't have a thin skin or a tendency to lash out. You need to be steady and measured and well-informed. I want a president with a record of public service, someone whose life's work shows our children that we don't chase fame and fortune for ourselves. We fight to give everyone a chance to succeed. And we give back even when we're struggling ourselves, because we know that there is always someone worse off. And there, but for the grace of God, go I. I want a president who will teach our children that everyone in this country matters. A president who truly believes in the vision that our founders put forth all those years ago, that we are all created equal, each a beloved part of the great American story. And when crisis hits, we don't turn against each other. No, we listen to each other. We lean on each other, because we are always stronger together. And I am here tonight because I know that that is the kind of president that Hillary Clinton will be. And that's why in this election, I'm with her. You see, Hillary understands that the president is about one thing and one thing only. It's about leaving something better for our kids. That's how we've always moved this country forward, by all of us coming together on behalf of our children. Folks who volunteer to coach that team, to teach that Sunday school class, because they know it takes a village. Heroes of every color and creed who wear the uniform and risk their lives to keep passing down those blessings of liberty. Police officers and protesters in Dallas who all desperately want to keep our children safe. People who lined up in Orlando to donate blood because it could have been their son, their daughter in that club. Leaders like Tim Kaine, who show our kids what decency and devotion look like. Leaders like Hillary Clinton, who has the guts and the grace to keep coming back and putting those cracks in that highest and hardest glass ceiling until she finally breaks through, lifting all of us along with her. That is the story of this country, the story that has brought me to this stage tonight, the story of generations of people who felt the lash of bondage, the shame of servitude, the sting of segregation, but who kept on striving and hoping and doing what needed to be done so that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves. And I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent black young women, playing with their dogs on the White House lawn. And because of Hillary Clinton, my daughters and all our sons and daughters now take for granted that a woman can be president of the United States. So look, don't let anyone ever tell you that this country isn't great, that somehow we need to make it great again, because this right now is the greatest country on earth. And as my daughters prepare to set out into the world, I want a leader who is worthy of that truth. A leader who is worthy of my girls' promise and all our kids' promise. A leader who will be guided every day by the love and hope and impossibly big dreams that we all have for our children. So in this election, we cannot sit back and hope that everything works out for the best. We cannot afford to be tired or frustrated or cynical. No, hear me. Between now and November, we need to do what we did 8 years ago and 4 years ago. We need to knock on every door. We need to get out every vote. We need to pour every last ounce of our passion and our strength and our love for this country into electing Hillary Clinton as president of the United States of America. So let's get to work. Thank you all, and God bless.
Michelle Obama in a packed house, 20,000 seats. It doesn't look to us that there is an empty seat anywhere.
And not only a remarkable endorsement of Hillary Clinton, but without mentioning the name of Donald Trump. An extremely tough speech in which she said, don't let anyone ever tell you this country isn't great. The imagery, too, of saying, I live in a house that slaves built.
And now my daughters take it for granted that a woman can be president of the United States.
Nancy Cordes is on the floor. Nancy?
Nora, Michelle Obama delivered this speech and talked about Donald Trump's rhetoric, not by name, but there was no mistaking it. And she did it not as a politician or as a politician's wife, but as a mother who has famously raised 2 young daughters in the public eye who have turned out to be pretty poised. And you know, it was a pretty rocky afternoon here at the Wells Fargo Center, but when she said that her 2 daughters now know that they can be president because of Hillary Clinton, not only did I see any dissension in this hall, but there were a lot of moist eyes too.
Nancy, thanks. Let's go down to John Dickerson at the podium.
Scott, there was every theme that the convention planners have talked about in that speech from beginning to end. There was the togetherness, that doing things together, not alone. Testifying Michelle Obama did to Hillary Clinton's grit, and also explaining the issues she's worked on as an advocate for children. She also rebuked Donald Trump, although of course not naming him by name, but the biggest part of her speech was the optimism. And the entire message of this convention will be that America is a great place, and Michelle Obama was saying, and my family is proof of that.
John, thanks very much. Still ahead, Charlie Rose will be right here with us, and Senator Bernie Sanders is getting ready to speak a little later.
That's right. We'll be right back. But before that, the keynote address from Senator Elizabeth Warren.
CBS News coverage of the Democratic National Convention continues in a moment.
Only one person who I believe is truly qualified to be president of the United States, and that is our friend Hillary Clinton.
In America, we will rise.
And we're back now in Philadelphia with Nora O'Donnell, and we're joined by Charlie Rose, who spoke with Robbie Mook, the campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, a little bit earlier this evening.
But first, we got to talk about this speech.
I want to talk about this speech. I mean, if she wanted to be a candidate, this was the kind of speech that might do for her what 2004 did for her husband. It was what she is most connected to, her children. Yeah. And it's what the families admired more. And she talked about Hillary Clinton. That's when they're bringing on Elizabeth Warren, the second big speaker, and then Bernie Sanders. She talked about what was really important to her, her children, and you had to have a president who you could trust for children. And that's her point.
Here is the keynote speaker tonight, United States Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Massachusetts, for the great honor of serving as your senator. Thank you, guys. What a night. Wow. Michelle Obama, Cory Booker. And we still have Bernie coming up. Bernie reminds us what Democrats fight for every day. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you. Now, we are here tonight because America faces a choice, the choice of a new president. On one side is a man who inherited a fortune from his father and kept it going by cheating people, by skipping out on debts. A man who has never sacrificed anything for anyone. A man who cares only for himself every minute of every day. On the other side is one of the smartest, toughest, most tenacious people on this planet. A woman who fights for children, for women, for health care, for human rights. A woman who fights for all of us and who is strong enough to win those fights. We're here today because our choice is Hillary Clinton. I'm with Hillary. I'm with Hillary. I'm with Hillary. You know, for me, this choice is personal. It's about who we are as a people. It's about what kind of a country we want to be. I grew up in Oklahoma. My daddy ended up as a maintenance man. And my mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. My 3 brothers served in the military. The oldest was career, 288 combat missions in Vietnam. The second worked construction. And the third started his own small business. Me? I got married at 19, graduated from a commuter college in Texas that cost $50 a semester. The way I see it, I'm a janitor's daughter who became a public school teacher, a professor, and a United States senator. America is truly a country of opportunity. Truly. I am deeply grateful to that America. I believe in that America, but I'm worried. I'm worried that my story is locked in the past, worried that opportunity is slipping away for people who work hard and play by the rules. I mean, look around. Americans bust their tails, some working 2 or 3 jobs, but wages stay flat. Meanwhile, the basic costs of making it from month to month keep going up. Housing, healthcare, childcare, the costs are out of sight. Young people are getting crushed by student loans. Working people are in debt. Seniors can't stretch a Social Security check to cover the basics. And even families who are okay today worry it could all fall apart tomorrow. This is not right. It is not. And here's the thing. America isn't going broke. The stock market is breaking records. Corporate profits are at all-time highs. CEOs make tens of millions of dollars. There's lots of wealth in America, but it isn't trickling down to hardworking families like yours. Does anyone here have a problem with that? Yeah, well, I do too. People get it. The system is rigged. You know, it's true. Now, so-called experts claim America is in trouble because both political parties in Washington refuse to compromise. Gridlock. That is just flat wrong. Washington works great for those at the top. When giant companies wanted more tax loopholes, Washington got it done. When huge energy companies wanted to tear up our environment, Washington got it done. When enormous Wall Street banks wanted new regulatory loopholes, Washington got it done. No gridlock there. But try to do something, anything for working people, and you'll have a fight on your hands. Democrats have taken on those fights. That's what we do. Democrats fought to get health insurance for more Americans. Democrats fought for a strong consumer agency so big banks can't cheat people. We fought, we won, and we improved the lives of millions of people. Thank you, Barack Obama. Yes, we won, but Republicans and lobbyists battled us every step of the way. 5 years later, that consumer agency has returned $11 billion to families who were cheated. And Republicans, they're still trying to kill it. Now look, I'm not someone who thinks that Republicans are always wrong and Democrats are always right. There's enough blame to go around. But there is a huge difference between people fighting for a level playing field and the people fighting to keep the system rigged. Look at Congress since the Republicans took over. Democrats proposed refinancing student loans, and Republicans, they said no. Democrats proposed ending tax breaks for corporations that ship jobs overseas. And Republicans, they said no. Democrats proposed raising the minimum wage, and Republicans, they said no. So to every Republican in Congress who said no, this November, the American people are coming for you. That's right. And where was Donald Trump? In all these fights, not once did he lift a finger to help working people. And why would he? His whole life has been about taking advantage of that rigged system. Time after time, he preyed on working people, people in debt, people who had fallen on hard times. He's conned them, he's defrauded them, and he's ripped them off. Look at his history. Donald Trump said he was excited for the 2008 housing crash that devastated millions of American families because he thought it would help him scoop up more real estate on the cheap. Donald Trump set up a fake university to make money by cheating people and taking their life savings. Donald Trump goes on and on and on about being a successful businessman, but he filed business bankruptcy 6 times, always to protect his own money and stick the investors and contractors with the bill. Donald Trump hired plumbers and painters and construction workers to do hard labor for his businesses. Then he told them to take only a fraction of what he owed or fight his lawyers in court for years. So, what kind of a man acts like this? What kind of a man roots for an economic crash that cost millions of people their jobs, their homes, their life savings? What kind of a man cheats students, cheats investors, cheats workers? Well, I'll tell you what kind of a man. A man who must never be president of the United States. Never. And we've got the leaders to make it happen. Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. They're going to make it happen. You bet. Look, Donald Trump knows that the American people are angry. A fact so obvious, he can see it from the top of the Trump Tower. So now, he's insisting that he, and he alone, can fix the rigged system. Last week, Donald Trump spoke for more than an hour on the biggest stage he's ever had. But other than talking about building a stupid wall, which will never get built, other than that wall, did you hear any actual ideas? Did you hear even one solid proposal from Trump for increasing incomes, or improving your kids' education, or creating even one single good-paying job? Look, let's face it, Donald Trump has no real plans for jobs or for college kids or for seniors. No plans to make anything great for anyone except rich guys like Donald Trump. Just look at his ideas. Donald Trump wants to get rid of the federal minimum wage. Donald Trump wants to roll back financial regulations and turn Wall Street loose to wreck our economy again. And Donald Trump has a tax plan to give multimillionaires and billionaires like himself an average tax cut of $1.3 million a year. You know, you're struggling to put your kids through college and Donald Trump thinks he needs a $1 million tax break? Trump's entire campaign is just one more late-night Trump infomercial. Hand over your money, your jobs, your children's future, and the great Trump hot air machine will reveal all the answers. And for one low, low price, he'll even throw in a goofy hat. And here's the really ugly underside to his pitch. Trump thinks he can win votes by fanning the flames of fear and hatred, by turning neighbor against neighbor, by persuading you that the real problem in America is your fellow Americans, people who don't look like you or don't talk like you or don't worship like you. He even picked a vice president famous for trying to make it legal to openly discriminate against gays and lesbians. That's Donald Trump's America, an America of fear and hate, an America where we all break apart. Whites against blacks and Latinos, Christians against Muslims and Jews, straight against gay, everyone against immigrants, race, religion, heritage, gender. The more factions, the better. But ask yourself this. When white workers in Ohio are pitted against black workers in North Carolina or Latino workers in Florida, who really benefits? Divide and conquer is an old story in America. Dr. Martin Luther King knew it. After his march from Selma to Montgomery, he spoke of how segregation was created to keep people divided. Instead of higher wages for workers, Dr. King described how poor whites in the South were fed Jim Crow, which told a poor white worker that, quote, no matter how bad off he was, at least he was a white man, better than the black man. Racial hatred was part of keeping the powerful on top. When we turn on each other, bankers can run our economy for Wall Street, oil companies can fight off clean energy, and giant corporations can ship the last good jobs overseas. When we turn on each other, rich guys like Trump can push through more tax breaks for themselves, and then we'll never have enough money to support our schools or rebuild our highways or invest in our kids' future. When we turn on each other, we can't unite to fight back against a rigged system. Well, I've got news for Donald Trump. The American people are not falling for it. We've seen this ugliness before, and we are not going to be Donald Trump's hate-filled America. Not now, not ever. This is about our values, about our shared values with our candidates, Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. Let's talk about those values. We believe that no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter who you love, equal means equal. Hillary will fight to make sure discrimination has no place in America, and we're with her. We believe that no one who works full-time should live in poverty. Hillary will fight for raising the minimum wage, fair scheduling, paid family and medical leave, and we're with her. We believe every kid in America should have a chance for a great education without getting crushed by debt. Hillary will fight for refinancing student loans and debt-free college. We are with her. And we believe that after a lifetime of hard work, seniors should be able to retire with dignity. Hillary will fight to expand Social Security, strengthen Medicare, and protect our retirement accounts. And we're with her. We believe that oil companies shouldn't call the shots in Washington, that science matters, that climate change is real. Hillary will fight to preserve this earth for our children and grandchildren, and we're with her. We believe, and I can't believe I have to say this in 2016, in equal pay for equal work and a woman's right to control over her own body. Hillary will fight for women, and we're with her. That's right. We believe we don't need weaker rules on Wall Street. We need stronger rules. And when big banks get too risky, break them up. Hillary will fight to hold big banks accountable, and we're with her. And we believe that the United States should never, never sign trade deals that help giant corporations but leave workers in the dirt. Hillary will fight for American workers, and we're with her. Okay. And just one more. We believe we must get big money out of politics and root out corruption. Hillary will fight to overturn Citizens United and return this government to the people. If you believe that America must work for all of us, not just for the rich and powerful, if you believe we must reject the politics of fear and division, if you believe that we are stronger together, then let's work our hearts out to make Hillary Clinton the next president of the United States. Thank you.
Senator Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, when we come back.
To Philadelphia, already a big speech by the First Lady, Michelle Obama, but we are awaiting Senator Bernie Sanders. Bob Schieffer is here. Bob?
Well, this was supposed to be the great coming together, the unity, the contrast with the Republican convention. It started out in chaos this morning. The Democratic National Committee chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, was ousted. The Bernie people were throwing fits. He was demanding to be on in prime time instead of before prime time. He will be on shortly. Finally, he had to calm his supporters because they were so upset. He sent them emails. He asked them, please don't do it. Every time he mentioned Hillary Clinton, the word was boo. Well, now we're here. Yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen. And I would say he's going to endorse her, but the way our predictions have been going lately, I'm going to say he's probably going to endorse her.
We will be watching.
Gayle King is with the Vermont delegation. Gayle?
So I have to tell you that they are still buzzing about Michelle Obama. I saw people get out of wheelchairs to give her an applause. That's how well she went over tonight. I'm here with Senator Patrick Leahy, senior senator from Vermont, who says this: Michelle Obama's speech was important for the country. Bernie Sanders' speech is important for the campaign. Senator Leahy, what do you mean by that? What does he need to do?
Well, I think, it's a very interesting thing. We're not going to give a gift to Donald Trump with a divided party. Any more than 8 years ago, we gave a gift because initially, of course, the Hillary supporters did not want Barack Obama. They said they'd never unite.
But they united.
They united because Hillary brought them in together. I think Bernie's going to do the same thing. he ran a wonderful campaign, but he knows his campaign wasn't.
He is coming on the stage, Senator Leahy. I think we've been upstage. Back to you, Scott and Nora.
And here is Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who won 22 states and 13 million votes in the primaries and caucuses.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It is an honor. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is an honor to be here tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It is an honor to be here tonight and to be following in the footsteps of my good friend Elizabeth Warren, and to be here tonight to thank Michelle Obama for her incredible service to our country. She has made all of us proud. Let me begin by thanking the hundreds of thousands of Americans who actively participated in our campaign as volunteers. Thank you. Let me thank the 2.5 million Americans who helped fund our campaign with an unprecedented 8 million individual campaign contributions. Anyone know what that average contribution was? Right, $27. And let me thank the 13 million Americans who voted for the political revolution. Giving us the 1,000 846 pledged delegates here tonight. And delegates, thank you for being here, and thank you for all the work you have done. I look forward to your votes during the roll call tomorrow night. And let me offer a special thanks to the people of my own state of Vermont who have sustained me and supported me as a mayor, congressman, senator, and presidential candidate. And to my family, my wife Jane, our 4 kids, and 7 grandchildren, thank you very much. I understand that many people here in this convention hall and around the country are disappointed about the final results of the nominating process. I think it's fair to say that no one is more disappointed than I am. But to all of our supporters here and around the country, I hope you take enormous pride in the historical accomplishments we have achieved. Together, my friends, we have begun a political revolution to transform America, and that revolution, our revolution, continues. Election days come and go, but the struggle of the people to create a government which represents all of us and not just the 1%. A government based on the principles of economic, social, racial, and environmental justice. That struggle continues. And I look forward to being part of that struggle with you. Let me be as clear as I can be. This election is not about, and has never been about, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders or any of the other candidates who sought the presidency. This election is not about political gossip. It's not about polls. It's not about campaign strategy. It's not about fundraising. It is not about all the things that the media spends so much time discussing. This election is about and must be about the needs of the American people and the kind of future we create for our children and our grandchildren. This election is about ending the 40-year decline of our middle class. The reality that 47 million men, women, and children today live in poverty. It is about understanding that if we do not transform our economy, our younger generation will likely have a lower standard of living than their parents. This election is about ending the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America today. It is not moral, it is not acceptable, and it is not sustainable that the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Or that the top 1% in recent years has earned 85% of all new income. That is unacceptable. That must change. This election is about remembering where we were 7.5 years ago when President Obama came into office after 8 years of Republican trickle-down economics. The Republicans want us to forget that as a result of the greed, recklessness, and illegal behavior on Wall Street, our economy was in the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. That's where we were. That is where we were. Some 800,000 people a month were losing their jobs. 800,000 people. We were running up a record-breaking deficit of $1.4 trillion. And by the way, the world's financial system was on the verge of collapse. That's where we were when President Obama came into office. Well, we have come a long way in the last 7.5 years, and I thank President Obama and Vice President Biden. I thank them for their leadership in pulling us out of that terrible recession. Yes, we have made progress, but I think we can all agree that much, much more needs to be done. This election is about which candidate understands the real problems facing this country and has offered real solutions. Not just bombast, not just fear-mongering, not just name-calling and divisiveness. We need leadership in this country which will improve the lives of working families, the children, the elderly, the sick, and the poor. We need leadership which brings our people together and makes us stronger. Not leadership which insults Latinos and Mexicans, insults Muslims and women, African Americans and veterans, and seeks to divide us up. By these measures, any objective observer will conclude that based on her ideas and her leadership, Hillary Clinton must become the next president of the United States. The choice this election is about a single mother, a single mom I saw in Nevada, who with tears in her eyes told me she was scared to death about the future because she and her daughter were not making it on the $10.45 an hour she was earning. This election is about that woman and the millions of other workers in this country who are struggling to survive on totally inadequate wages. Hillary Clinton understands that if someone in this country works 40 hours a week, that person should not be living in poverty. She understands that we must raise the minimum wage to a living wage. And she is determined to create millions of new jobs by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, our roads, bridges, water systems, and wastewater plants. But her opponent, Donald Trump, well, he has a very different point of view. He does not support raising the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, a starvation wage. While Trump believes in huge tax breaks, for billionaires, he believes that states should actually have the right to lower the minimum wage below $7.25. Brothers and sisters, this election is about overturning Citizens United. Citizens United is one of the worst Supreme Court decisions in the history of our country. That decision allows the wealthiest people in America, like the billionaire Koch brothers, to spend hundreds of millions of dollars buying elections and in the process undermine American democracy. Hillary Clinton will nominate justices to the Supreme Court who are prepared to overturn Citizens United. And end the movement toward oligarchy that we are seeing in this country. Her Supreme Court appointments will also defend a woman's right to choose workers' rights, the rights of the LGBT community, the needs of minorities and immigrants, and the government's ability to protect our environment. If you don't believe that this election is important, if you think you can sit it out, take a moment to think about the Supreme Court justices that Donald Trump would nominate. And what that would mean to civil liberties, equal rights, and the future of our country. This election is about the thousands of young people I have met all over this country the thousands that I have met who left college deeply in debt, and tragically the many others who cannot afford to go to college. During the primary campaign, Secretary Clinton and I both focused on this issue, but with somewhat different approaches. Recently, however, we have come together on a proposal that will revolutionize higher education in America. It will guarantee that the children of any family in this country with an annual income of $125,000 a year or less, 83% of our population will be able to go to a public college or university tuition-free. That proposal also substantially reduces student debt. This election is about climate change, the great environmental crisis facing our planet, and the need to leave this world in a way that is healthy and habitable for our children and future generations. Hillary Clinton is listening to the scientists who tell us that unless we act boldly to transform our energy system in the very near future, there will be more drought, more floods, more acidification of the oceans, more rising sea levels. She understands that we can create hundreds of thousands of jobs transforming our energy system. Donald Trump, well, like most Republicans, he chooses to reject science. He believes that climate change is a hoax, no need to address it. Hillary Clinton understands that a president's job is to worry about future generations, not the profits of the fossil fuel industry. This campaign is about moving the United States toward universal health care. And reducing the number of people who are uninsured or underinsured. Hillary Clinton wants to see that all Americans have the right to choose a public option in their health care exchange. She believes that anyone 55 or older should be able to opt in to Medicare. And she wants to see millions more Americans gain access to primary health care, dental care, mental health counseling, low-cost prescription drugs through a major expansion of community health centers. And what is Donald Trump's position on health care? Well, no surprise there. Same old Republican contempt for working families. He wants to abolish the Affordable Care Act, throw 20 million people off of health insurance, and cut Medicaid for lower-income Americans. Hillary Clinton also understands that millions of seniors, disabled vets, and others are struggling with the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs. And the fact that Americans pay the highest prices in the world for the medicine we use. She knows that Medicare must negotiate drug prices with the pharmaceutical industry. And that drug companies should not be making billions in profit when 1 out of 5 Americans are unable to afford the medicine they need. The greed of the drug companies must end. This election is about the leadership we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform and repair a broken criminal justice system. It's about making sure that young people in this country are in good schools and at good jobs, not rotting in jail cells. Hillary Clinton understands that we have to invest in education and jobs for our young people, not more jails or incarceration. In these stressful times for our country, this election must be about bringing our people together, not dividing us up. While Donald Trump is busy insulting one group after another, Hillary Clinton understands that our diversity is one of our greatest strengths. Yes, we become stronger when black and whites, Latino, Asian American, Native American, when all of us stand together. Yes, we become stronger when men and women, young and old, gay and straight, native-born and immigrant, fight together to create the kind of country we all know we can become. It is no secret that Hillary Clinton and I disagree on a number of issues. That is what this campaign has been about. That is what democracy is about. But I'm happy to tell you that at the Democratic Platform Committee, there was a significant coming together between the two campaigns, and we produced by far the most progressive platform in the history of the Democratic Party. Among many, many other strong provisions, the Democratic Party now calls for breaking up the major financial institutions on Wall Street. And the passage of a 21st century Glass-Steagall act. It also calls for strong opposition to job-killing trade agreements like the TPP. Our job right. We have got to make sure that TPP does not get to the floor of the Congress in the lame duck session. Our job now is to see that strong Democratic platform implemented by a Democratic-controlled Senate, by a Democratic House, and a Hillary Clinton presidency. And I am going to do all that I can to make that happen. I have known Hillary Clinton for 25 years. I remember her, as you do, as a great First Lady who broke precedent in terms of the role that a First Lady was supposed to play as she helped lead the fight for universal health care. I served with her in the United States Senate and know her as a fierce advocate for the rights of children, for women, and for the disabled. Hillary Clinton will make an outstanding president, and I am proud to stand with her tonight. Thank you all very much.
A convention hall on its feet, not only Bernie supporters, but Hillary supporters cheering this final speech of the evening. Tomorrow, Hillary Clinton will be nominated and Bill Clinton will speak.
Tonight, Bernie Sanders heals the breach. With Norah O'Donnell, I'm Scott Pelley. Good night from Philadelphia.